Okay.
Hello, this is Robert Allen, co-president of the NC Rowan County Anime Group. I'm here at Charlotte Comic Con, and I'm going to introduce you to a good friend of mine. His name's Alan Bigley. Alan, what do you remember of Sam Grainger?
Well, Sam was one of the first comic professionals I ever met. Of course, he did a lot of work for Marvel Comics and other publishers. And Sam was always very generous with his advice, talking about the industry. This is back when he didn't have a lot of access to people in comics. It was also great to meet someone who had worked on a lot of the big titles. He worked on X-Men, Avengers, Hulk. And one thing about Sam is he was always really friendly, no matter who came up to him. I actually had him sign something that he didn't draw because I just wanted a signature on something. And Sam was great about that. He could have told me to go away or go find something I actually worked on. He was really good about it. He'd have stories for everybody. One convention, I was so young, my mother was there with me. That's how young I was. And I remember they chatted about certain subjects and things not having to do with comics, about kids these days. But it didn't matter. With Sam, anybody that caught his eye, he'd have a story for it. He'd have a friendly gesture. He'd have something always friendly to say to people. So he was really great in that respect, and I really miss him. But he'll always be, in my mind, one of the first professionals I ever met in comics at a comic convention.
What was the first comic book you ever saw?
The first comic I ever saw? Did Sam did, or just in general?
Well, either way, what was the first one you saw Sam do, and which one was the first one you ever saw?
Well, the first one I ever saw probably was like most kids, was like probably an Archie comic, or I remember having a Partridge Family comic.
Oh yes, I remember the Partridge Family.
Yeah, like 1971 or 2.
Yeah.
In fact, Don Sherwood drew that comic, and he for a while lived in Charlotte. He passed away recently.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
But probably the usual stuff. I remember having some Batman and Superman comics. But I don't remember the one comic that did it for me. I don't remember the one comic book that really sticks out in my mind as my first. Now for Sam, it probably was his work on Avengers. Probably some of those comics.
Did you remember he also worked on a Defenders comic book one time? And also to the Ghost Rider one time. He did a single issue.
Oh yeah. Great stuff.
Yeah. I got Sam, helped him get his job at First Comics. I was down at Magnus Opus Con.
Yeah. And
met Rick Obadiah, talked to him a little bit. Sam went and contacted Obadiah. He said, "Well, send us some samples." Got him his job at First. Just because I showed him a sketch of what Sam did for me with the ink of Peter Davison's Doctor Who, Fifth Doctor.
Very good. Do you do a lot of work for First?
Yes. Lunson's Bar. He did a whole bunch of those. Did a Dreadstar, I remember, with Chuck Wojciechowicz.
That's right. Absolutely. I did a lot of work for First Comics back when. They were very good to work for.
Yeah.
One of those new companies of the 80s.
Yeah, I remember you did do some work for it. What was some titles you worked on?
Some Badger and some issues of Sable.
Okay. I remember Sable. That was one of the books I collected.
It's had a long run.
Well, I'm going to end our review here. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Goodbye.